Well, hello, gear fans. Kind of different sort of video today. Over the last, what have we been operating here? 2 years. We've had two comments from two different users about the dust in my studio. Now, this channel is called Quest for Gear, and sometimes I call it Quest for Trolls. It's more about preamps, microphones, home recording, guitars, bass, drums, piano, organ, synthesizers, indie rock, kind of, fun stuff. Beatles, classic rock, kind of interesting things that most people would want to discuss or talk about. But I have had these couple commenters really excited about the dust in my studio. So they were talking last time about the synthesizer here. Now, I've not dusted it since the comment they made, so you're going to see the dust they're talking about, which is good. We want to see what it is that their concern was. So I got this video lamp here. We're going to just turn that on for a minute, and there's a little dust down there, and we're just going to see in the light if we can see what they were talking about here. So let me just adjust this light so we can we need to see the dust that they're talking about. Just make an adjustment here. It's hard because I got the camera in one hand. Oh, there we go. That shines a light on the situation. Come on now. Come on now. The people want to see the dust. Yeah, I've already wrecked that. Anyway, okay, so let's take a look here. Right there, you can see the dust on my, hopefully you can see it. Yeah. See? This dust right there. So my synthesizer's dusty. I didn't put the dust there. Oh, look at this. Ooh, look at that. Look at that dust. Some hair. Huh, it's crazy. Now, right next door, I didn't put these here. These have been here for a while. Obviously, I need to use them. But you can just, and I haven't. I just, you can see I haven't done that. I did it to this one, but not this one. So I don't really know why we're talking about it, though. It doesn't seem entertaining to me or educational or fun. Like, I would rather talk about home recording and gear and guitars and synthesizers. But with the commenters, bringing it up, obviously it's a hot topic. And who am I to not give the people what they want? So this is going to be a long rant about dust, how I feel about it, where it comes from, why it's there. Again, for most of the Quest for Gear people, I probably wouldn't watch this video. I don't understand the point or the appeal to want to talk about dust. I find it kind of boring. But the commenters, they were curious about it. So we can do a dust special here if you guys want. So Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines dust as fine particles of matter, as of earth. Particles in which something disintegrates, something worthless, a state of humiliation. I've never heard it use that. Like, hey, my life is dust. I don't, maybe that's like old Greek or something. I've never heard that one. The earth, especially as a place of burial, the surface of the ground, also used as a cloud of dust or confusion or disturbance. Archaic. British, it's refuse ready for collection. And as a verb, it's like to dust or to make dusty. To make free of dust, dust the living room. To sprinkle with fine particles, a cake dusted with sugar. Oh yes, you could dust a cake. I like cake. That's kind of interesting. To sprinkle in the form of dust. Used as to throw a fastball. I dusted that batter. To defeat badly is in a race. Oh, I raced that guy. I dusted him. I think this is really, really pushing it. A bird could dust its feathers. Intransitive verb to remove dust, to give off dust. So, again, this is a gear show. We should be talking about the Fender Tonemaster Pro or the Apollo or headphone amps or compressors, but you guys wanted a special on dust. You want to talk about the dust? We'll talk about the dust. It's no problem. So, what is dust? So, we'll go to the Wikipedia here. Dust is made of fine particles of solid matter. On Earth, generally consists of particles in the atmosphere that come from various sources, such as soil lifted by wind. It's an aeolian process, volcanic eruptions, pollution. Dust in home is composed of about 20 to 50% dead skin cells. That's kind of gross. The rest, and in offices and other built environments, is composed of small amounts of plant pollen, human hairs, animal fur, textile fibers, paper fibers, minerals from outdoor soil, burnt meteorite particles. Oh, this is getting interesting. And many other materials which may be found in the local environment. Again, this is a gear show. I don't know why we're doing a show on dust, but the commenters, they're interested in dust, so this is what we do. Atmospheric or windborne fugitive dust, also known as alien dust, comes from arid and dry regions where high-speed winds are able to remove mostly silt-sized material, abrading the susceptible surfaces. I think we have to go over that again. It abrades the susceptible surfaces. So the unsusceptible surfaces, I would read that as they would be unabraded or not yet abraded. Certainly not abrading the susceptible surfaces if they're unsusceptible. But if they are susceptible surfaces, abrading obviously occurs. This includes area where grazing, plowing, vehicle use, and other human behaviors have further destabilized the land. Not all source areas have been largely affected by anthropogenic impacts. 1/3 of the global land area is covered by dust-producing surfaces. 1/3. My basement's included in that, obviously. Made up of hyper-arid regions like the Sahara, which covers 0.9 billion hectares, and dry lands, which occupies 5.2 billion hectares. That's interesting. I actually thought it was 5.1, so it's a good thing that we're going over this. Dust in the atmosphere is produced by saltation and abrasive sandblasting of sand-sized grains, and it's transported through the troposphere. I'm not familiar with that. Maybe Quest for Gear will do a special on the troposphere, if anybody wants to comment on that. The airborne dust is considered an aerosol, and once in the atmosphere, it can produce strong local radiative forcing. I got to admit, I don't know anything about that. More of a gear show. Saharan dust, in particular, can be transported and deposited as far as the Caribbean and the Amazon basin, which is that's a sink at Jeff Bezos' office, and may affect air temperatures, cause ocean cooling, and alter the rainfall amounts. This dust is pretty important. In the Middle East, dust in the Middle East has been a historic phenomenon recently because of climate change and the escalating process of desertification. The problem has worsened dramatically as a multi-factor phenomenon. There is not yet a clear consensus on the source of potential solutions to the problem. Well, with climate change, I find if you give Al Gore $20 and you give Greta Potato-Berg $20, things get better. It is a money problem. No, I don't want to say it's a tax. I don't want to say like it's like what do you call that, money grab scam tax. I don't want to say that. But if you give those two $20, now they're already millionaires. Greta Potato-Berg and Al Gore are already millionaires. But if you give them $20 each, climate change improves. That is the road forward, folks. In Iran, the dust in Iraq and Iran are migratory systems that move from west to east or east to west. It's important here. Could go either way. in the spring and have the highest intensity, concentration, and extent until midsummer. The cause of their occurrence is the lack of humidity, dry environment, low rainfall, and annual droughts. Due to the decrease of rainfall in areas such as Iraq and Syria, most of the dust in Iran also originates from the areas of Iraq, Syria, and Jordan. If you didn't know, I knew that. I actually knew that already. In a very real sense, I didn't know that. But in addition to the foreign foci, there are areas inside the country that have either formed new dust foci in recent years or were the past, and the extent has increased. I don't know if some of that foci is in my studio, but I'm more of a gear channel. Anyway, among these areas, parts of southern Tehran, south of Alborz province, which is the past where plains, riverbeds, seasonal lakes, and seasonal reservoirs, and Gafgahoni wetlands of Isfahan province can be mentioned because they have become dry and prone to dust. Among other areas have mentioned become dust centers. Qom province, the Qom Salt Lake and its surrounding can be mentioned, as well as Urmia Lake, which due to strong winds and due to the dryness of the lake and the reduction of its size, some areas of the bed, which were underwater in the past, are subject to wind erosion. In Iran, the dust is already affecting more than 5 million people directly and has emerged as a serious government issue. You'd think they would buy dust busters. It has led to the severe increase of air pollution. The amount of pollutants in air has surpassed more than 50 times the normal level several times this year. Recently, initiatives such as Project Dust, which has probably just given Greta and Al Gore $20 each, have been established to directly study dust in the Middle East. I don't know if that sentence makes sense. Established to directly, oh, it does. Okay, have been established to directly study dust in the Middle East. And that's what we're doing here on my gear show today, is we're studying dust. The continuation of drought has caused water scarcity or drying up in some wetlands in the lakes, such as the Hammond and the Urmia Lake. This has turned them into centers of dust. The Director General of the Office of Desert Affairs of Iran's Natural Resources and Watershed Organization stated that according to data of the 2018 studies, 30 million hectares of land in the country are affected by wind erosion, and 14 million hectares of this area are considered to be the focal points of wind erosion, which causes serious damage to infrastructure. So apparently they've not given their $20. Now, roads and dust. Before, I know you guys were going to ask. Yes, dust kicked up by vehicles traveling on roads may make up 33% of air pollution. Now, I have a road right in front of my house, so maybe that's where some of the dust on my synthesizer that the commenters were concerned about, maybe that's where some of that came from. Road dust consists of deposit of vehicle and industrial exhaust gas particles from tire and brake wear, dust from paved roads or potholes, and dust from construction sites. Road dust is a significant contributor to the generation and release of particles into the atmosphere. The control of road dust is a significant challenge in urban areas and also in other locations with high levels of vehicular traffic upon unsealed roads, such as mines and landfills. Road dust may be suppressed by mechanical methods like a street sweeper, or vehicles equipped with vacuum cleaners, vegetable oil sprays, or water sprayers. Calcium chloride can be used. Improvements in automotive engineering have reduced the amount of PM produced by road traffic. The proportion representing resuspension of existing particulates has increased as a result. So I didn't know any of that. More of a gear show. I like to talk about microphones and guitars, but coal dust is responsible for the respiratory disease known as pneumocanosis, including coal workers' pneumocanosis disease that occurs among the coal miners. The danger of coal dust resulted in environmental law regulating workplace air quality in some jurisdictions. In addition, if enough coal dust is dispersed within the air in a given area, in a very rare circumstance, it can cause a dust explosion. These circumstances are typically within confined spaces. And I got to tell you, I have no interest in that topic, and I don't know anything about it. I'm just reading it here for the first time, and I hope you guys are still with me, because this is what the commenters wanted. They want to talk about dust. So atmospheric. Most government environmental protection agencies, including the United States Environmental Protection Agency or the EPA, mandate that facilitate the generative fugitive dust, minimize or mitigate the production of the dust in the operation. The most frequent dust control violations occur in every residential housing development of the United States federal law require that the construction sites preparing implementation conduct earth moving and clearing of areas so that plans to control dust emissions while the work is being carried out are specified. Control measures include such simple practices as spraying construction and demolition sites with water and preventing the tracking of dust on adjacent roads. Some of the issues include, we're going to go through these point by point, reducing the dust-related health risks that include allergic reactions, pneumonia, asthmatic attacks, improving the visibility and road traffic safety, providing clean air, cleaner vehicles, cleaner homes, promoting better health, improving agriculture productivity, reducing vehicle maintenance costs by lowering the levels of dust that clog filters, bearings, and machinery, reducing driver fatigue, maintenance on car suspension systems, and improving fuel economy in automobiles. Increasing the cumulative effects. This is the cumulative effects, not the sum of, well, I suppose the sum of cumulative effects. Each new application builds on, obviously, the previous progress. The U.S. federal law requires dust control on sources such as vacant lots, unpaved parking lots, and dirt roads. Dust in such places may be suppressed by mechanical methods. Oh, I wonder what the methods are this time. Including paving, laying down gravel, stabilizing the surface with water, vegetable oils, or other dust suppressants, or by using water emitters to suppress the dust that is already airborne. And I'm just going to throw in here that if you paid Greta Potato and Al Gore $20 each, that would probably also help. When you pay them, things get better somehow. They already have millions of dollars. Domestic. Dust control is a suppression of solid particles with diameters less than 500 micrometers, i.e. half a millimeter. Dust poses a health risk to children. Well, there you go. I'm not even thinking of the children down here. Older people and those with respiratory illnesses. Yeah, I wouldn't think that you'd want to breathe dust in. I never did think that. House dust can become airborne easily. Well, see, there you go. Care is required when removing dust to avoid causing the dust to become airborne. A feather duster tends to agitate the dust so it lands elsewhere. Certified HEPA tested to MIL standard 282. And we can look that up. We could do an entire video, Quest for Gear, on MIL standard 282 if you want. It can effectively trap 99.97% of dust at 0.3 micrometers. Now, I'd actually always thought it was 99.96%, and I thought it was at 0.34 micrometers, so this is good to review this stuff. Not all HEPA filters can effectively stop dust. While vacuum cleaners with HEPA filters, water, or cyclones may filter more effectively than without, they may still exhaust millions of particles per cubic foot of air circulated. Central vacuum cleaners can be effective in removing dust, especially if they are exhausted directly to the outdoors. And that makes sense. You want to get the dust out, right? It's in, get it out, right? You don't want your central vac to just blow it back into the house, because it was in the house and it goes through and then it's in the house again. You got to get it out. So that is a gem of a tip right there. And I'll just even say it again. Central vacuum cleaners can be effective in removing dust, especially if they are exhausted directly to the outdoors. Especially. All right? Comment in the comments if you knew that already, that it's best just to get the dust outdoors. Now, air filters differ greatly in their effectiveness. Laser particle counters are an effective way to measure filter effectiveness. Medical grade instruments can test for particles as small as 0.3 micrometers. In order to test for dust in the air, there are several options available. Pro-weight filter and matched weight filter made from polyvinyl chloride or mixed cellulose ester are suitable for respirable dust less than 10 micrometers in diameter. Of course, everyone, that goes without saying too, I think. Dust-resistant surfaces, which is not my studio and not my synthesizers. A dust-resistant surface is a state of prevention against dust contamination or damage by design or treatment of materials and items in manufacturing or through a repair process. They need a citation on that. If anyone in the comments can provide citation, please do. Reduced tacticity of a synthetic layer or covering can protect surfaces and release small molecules that could have remained attached. A panel, container, or enclosure with seams may feature types of strengthened structural rigidity or sealant to vulnerable edges and joins. Keeps the dust out, folks. Outer space, cosmic dust is widely present in outer space, where gas, dust, and clouds are the primary precursors for planetary systems. The zodiacal light, as seen in the dark night sky, is produced by sunlight reflected from particles of dust in orbit around the sun. The tails of the comet are produced by emissions of dust and ionized gas from the body of the comet. Dust also covers solid planetary bodies, and vast dust storms can occur on Mars, which cover almost the entire planet. Interstellar dust is found between the stars, and high concentration produced diffuse nebulae and reflection nebulae. Dust is widely present in the galaxy. Well, there you go. I reckon my studio, my synthesizer are in the galaxy, so what am I supposed to do? Ambient radiation heat dust and re-emits radiation to the microwave band, which may distort the cosmic microwave background power spectrum. Dust in this regime has a complicated emission spectrum and includes both thermal dust emission and spinning dust emission. Dust samples returned from outer space had provided information about conditions of the early solar system. Several spacecraft have sought to gather samples of dust and other materials. Among these craft was Stardust. Oh, it's in the name. It's right in the name. Stardust. Look what they did there. The craft was called Stardust. And dust is in the name, and that's what we're talking about on Quest for Gear today is dust, which flew past 81P Wild in 2004 and returned a capsule of the comet's remains to Earth. In 2010, the Japanese Hayabusa, probably pronounced Hayabusa, spacecraft returned samples of dust from the surface of an asteroid. We've got we'll go through all the pictures. Dust mites. This just got serious. I am glad that the commenters on Quest for Gear are more concerned about dust than talking about gear at this point, because I didn't know dust mites were a real thing. I thought it was like some kind of boogeyman. House dust mites are present indoors wherever humans live. Positive tests for dust mite allergies are extremely common among people with asthma. Dust mites are microscopic arachnids whose primary food is dead human skin cells. Gross. But they do not live on living people. They and their feces and other allergens that they produce are major constituents of house dust, and because they are so heavy, they are not suspended for long in the air. They're generally found on the floor and other surfaces until disturbed by walking, for example. It could take somewhere between 20 minutes and 2 hours for dust mites to settle back down out of the air. Well, that's crazy. I don't want to be breathing a bunch of dust feces. Dust mites are a nesting species that prefer a dark, warm, and humid climate. They flourish in mattresses, beddings, upholstered furnitures, and carpets. Their feces include enzymes that are released upon contact with a moist surface and can happen when a person inhales, and these enzymes can kill cells within the body. House dust mites did not become a problem until humans began to use textiles, such as Western-style blankets and clothing. That doesn't sound right. If anyone's interested, they could there's some points here. They could see mineral dust, sawdust, moon dust, adhesion force measurements of powders, medical geology, nephelometer, contamination control, occupational dust exposure, dust buddy, lint, dust explosion, and hananana. And here's all your references. Just want to make sure you guys get a moment. Now you can always go to your own Wikipedia and look up dust and read it, but I'll go down this column first, slowly, and then we'll come back up over here. Okay. I know the people that comment about dust on my channel, they're going to want to go back to some of these references. Remember, there was a point earlier that the citation is still needed. So if one of you guys could provide citation for that particular paradigm, that would be great. So that's the references. If you guys want further reading, Joseph Amato's got a book called Dust, A History of the Small and the Invisible. It's for the University of California Press. There's the ISBN number if you want to order that. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not affiliated with any of these authors. They don't pay me to sell books on Dust. Hannah Holmes has a 2001 book called The Secret Life of Dust. I've already read that one. And it has been 0471-37743-0. I didn't even have to look at the screen. I actually have the ISBN memorized. Steedman Carolyn has the 2002 book just called Dust. She chose for the smaller title. Just it's more, definitive, right? And that is Manchester University Press. And that's ISBN 978-0719-06051. And I also had that ISBN memorized, and I also have that book, and I already read it. It's really good. External links. There's a global map of atmospheric dust. We'll pin that because we're going to have to go check that out. Yeah, last edit on this was May 2024. Again, there is citation needed. If any of you dust gurus out there on my Quest for Gear channel, I don't know why you would be on Quest for Gear and a dust expert. You would think the two topics would be far, but my Quest for Gear commentators wanted to know about the dust, so here we go. This here is a that's a dust storm in Texas. You can see the dust. That's a house, but that's dust, and that's like less dust because it's the sky. Here we've actually got the global oceanic distribution of dust deposition. So you guys have seen that though, you know that one already. Here we have the map of dust in 2017. So you can see over my house here, where my synthesizer is, you can see that, like, you see that? That's the dust on my synthesizer. That's why the commenters had to say something about the dust on my synthesizer. Now, I don't know why, I don't know if there's synthesizers here, but they might have dust too. It's hard to say. And then right here, we've got 3 years of use without cleaning has caused this laptop heatsink to become clogged with dust, and it can no longer be used as it may catch fire. That's a lot of dust. And we've got domestic dust on a finger. I would consider that to be a lot of dust. This is a large dust storm over Libya. I don't know what's dust and what's not. It looks like water. Okay, that's the water. That's the dust. And we've got tarps and netting are often used to reduce amount of dust released from construction site. Maybe I need that around my synthesizer. Okay, now we've got house dust under a microscope. That's what it looks like. And then we've got, this is domestic dust on a ribbon. And we've got dry, windy weather sends clouds of dust across the southeastern Australia. Right, yeah, I would think it would be dusty down there. We've got like, deserts. Deserts are dusty. Or is that sandy? Well, this is what I don't know, even after reading all them books. Is sand dust? Dusty sand? I don't know. Probably not. Sand is sand and dust is dust. It's different. This is a pale brown plume of dust sweeps out of Argentina's Pampas. Never heard of that. This is a thick dust plume over Kuwait and the northern western tip of the Persian Gulf. And I think there was a video here. We can go down. Again, we're on the Wikipedia for dust. And let's see. Presentation of imported dust in North American skies.
New satellite data show that every year, 64 million tons of airborne particles arrive in North American airspace from foreign sources, almost as much as those produced domestically. These particles are called aerosols, a broad term that includes particulate pollution, soot from fires, salt from the ocean, grains of pollen, volcanic ash, and dust from deserts. And as it turns out, the vast majority of these imported aerosols are in the form of dust, and arrive in North America via air currents over the Pacific Ocean. For years, researchers have used increasingly powerful computer models to simulate the transport of aerosols around the globe. But we had no good way of measuring how much of this aerosol mass was produced at home and how much came from abroad, how much was pollution and how much was dust, or how high these particles were in the atmosphere, all important factors in assessing aerosols' impact on air quality and Earth's climate.
I just gotta look at my stand.
Now a new analysis of NASA satellite data has given us some surprising answers.
The first was that half of the particles that are above North America come from someplace else. And that's a big number, half. I wasn't expecting anything like that.
Half? Oh my God.
The second piece was that even though these particles are coming from someplace else, they come in high in the atmosphere. They're not on the ground, so you're not breathing them.
No.
And the third piece of the study I found really surprising, that most of it is dust.
I wasn't surprised.
And
I
natural
already
aerosol,
knew.
not man-made aerosol. And again, that has implications for if you're trying to control how much pollution goes from one continent to the next, from one country to the next. Even if you turned off all the industry everywhere else, we would still have all these foreign particles in our airshed above us because it's natural. As it turns out, we should still keep focused on our own pollution in order to keep our air healthy because the particles that come from other places come high.
Yeah.
Besides direct impacts on human health, we need to better understand how the movement of aerosols affect weather and climate.
I already know, though.
For example, some aerosols can change precipitation patterns by seeding clouds, while other dust and soot particles can build up on snow surfaces and have local effects.
That could make snow darker and easier to melt. So this could have a significant impact on the water supply in the western US.
The imported aerosols primarily reflect sunlight, resulting in a cooler Earth atmosphere system that partly compensates for the larger warming effect of greenhouse gases. Some imported aerosols, like dust and soot, actually absorb sunlight and heat the local atmosphere.
This could change atmospheric circulations, and it could have a significant impact on weather and climate. I think the take-home message
This is the take-home message. Pay attention.
It's
a small world.
We share one atmosphere.
Just one.
Every country is influencing other countries' backyard.
Yeah.
So that's my take-home message.
Yeah, that doesn't just go without saying either. I mean, that wasn't just obvious that, what he's saying is there's wind, right? There's be dust over here and then it blows over here. So what he's saying isn't just sort of low-hanging fruit, goes without saying. It's important. It's an important message. This here, we're going to watch a video on reducing dust exposure in the workplace. Again, this is a gear show about microphones and guitars. I don't know why we're doing this, but it's what the commenters wanted. They wanted to talk about dust, so here we go. We're going to talk about dust because I'm here to say that I don't like dust in a major way.
Surface mining operations vary in many ways. In the United States, more than 130,000 miners work in the coal and metal non-metal surface mining industry. One common goal is to keep these miners healthy and safe. One area of concern is the equipment operators' dust levels inside enclosed cabs. According to federal dust records, mobile equipment operators have the highest respirable dust exposure levels of all workers at these mine sites. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health has been studying enclosed cabs to determine cost-effective methods for lowering equipment operators' dust levels. This research has shown that there are two key components necessary for an enclosed cab to be effective for dust control protection. The cab must have structural integrity and a good dust filtration system. A good dust filtration system takes outside air, filters it, and then delivers this clean air to the inside of the cab. The air is then recirculated in the cab through another filter, always keeping the operator in clean air.
In an effort to minimize dust concentrations, the inlet for outside air should be located as far away from the equipment's dust source as possible. This also minimizes dust loading on the system's filtration system. It is also important that the heater and air conditioning discharge be located high in the cab, directed down over the equipment operator. Also, the recirculation inlets should be located near the floor of the cab.
Structural integrity of the cab is needed to maintain positive air pressure inside the cab, so outside dusty air does not leak into the operator's compartment. A field study on an enclosed cab of an older drill rig showed that the cab's structural integrity is a very important component for effective dust control. Even though a new air filtration system was installed, positive cab pressure was not achieved because of a poor fitting door and large holes where drill controls entered the cab. Dust measurements taken before and after the installation of the new system revealed only minor changes to the drill operator's dust exposure.
Cab integrity is reduced by having holes, cracks, and gaps around windows, doors, and controls, and a way to address these problems is by using silicone caulk and rubber gaskets to seal these areas. The interior of the cab should be monitored with a pressure gauge, making sure the positive pressure is always maintained. Low cab pressure will help keep the dust out of the cab in calm conditions. Higher cab pressures will help keep dust out of the cab in windier conditions.
If only a minimal amount of positive pressure is attained in the cab, the system can work very effectively. During the installation of a new air filtration system on a front-end loader, time was spent sealing small gaps in the cab and around the doors. As a result, a small amount of positive pressure was achieved, and the operator's dust exposure was reduced by 90%. Similar studies performed on other equipment with better cab integrity resulted in higher cab pressures and even greater reductions to the operator's dust exposure. The air filtration system must be in good condition and properly maintained to ensure that clean air is being delivered to the equipment operator. The system should be inspected daily so that any observed problems can be quickly corrected. Filters should be checked for damage and cleaned or replaced as specified by the manufacturers. The cab structure should also be visually inspected, checking for holes or damage, and the inside cab air pressure should be regularly monitored.
The work that NIAS has done with us in reducing dust exposures in our drill cabs and mobile equipment cabs has been very beneficial. We've seen significant reductions in our employee exposures. The employees have appreciated that. It has been well received by them. As we all know, the health and safety of our employees is paramount in our industry.
Although this research was directed towards mining, it can be applied to agriculture, construction, or any other industries which use enclosed cabs.
Enclosed cabs can offer equipment operators protection from many hazards. Installing and maintaining a good dust filtration system and keeping positive air pressure inside a structurally sound cab provides a cleaner and healthier environment
I've always said
for
that.
equipment operators.
So I think that goes a long way. Oh, it's not done, sorry. Oh, who was that music by? We missed that. I could play it again. Well, we won't play it again. Where are we at here, though? So, yeah, again, this is a gear show. I talk about guitars and guitar pedals and synthesizers and recording and home recording. But we had commenters that were, they were concerned about the little bit of dust in my synthesizer, so they wanted to talk about dust. So we're talking about dust. I'm not going to not, you know, you give the people what they want. Those commenters wanted to talk about the dust. I think the one even said, he said something like, hey, what's with the dust? Well, I didn't put the dust there, you know, just showed up. I didn't put it there. So let's see what else we have here. And we did the dust definition already. We got various pictures of dust here. We could look at some of these. Oh, it's like out of the vacuum cleaner, you know, after you're done vacuuming. Oh, look at this guy. He's like, I'm dust man. Woo, look at me go. My powers are dust and I run through the dust. And then this guy's got one of these dust things here. It gets the dust. That's how the dust gets made. And then I think we seen this one on Wikipedia, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Big old dust storm. Somebody wrote dust in the dust. Can you imagine? It'd be like painting and then writing paint in the paint. And then what else do we got here? That's some dust there. There's some dust somebody swept up. And then we've got more dust. What else do we got here? This guy's stealing. He stole a whole handful of dust. You put that dust back. That's somebody else's dust. We got like, it's like Wizard of Oz farm. Ooh, Dust Devil. And then we've got the Marvel hero Dust in the Marvel Contest of Champions. So, also known as Dust, is a former X-Men and current member of the Champions. She has the ability to convert her human body into loose silicone particles to create devastating sandstorms. After training alongside the X-Men at the Xavier Institute, Dust mastered her control over sand and now uses it to take down threats all over the planet. So I stopped watching Marvel about 3 years ago when everybody was just like gender and race swap. So this character Dust was probably a white man at some point, and now clearly not. I don't know that for sure. Maybe they made this character as a female person of color. I don't know. It's just that all the other characters in Marvel have been race and gender swap because it makes it's just more entertaining. They like that. And Disney's stock is nose bombing right now, like absolutely tanking. If we just go Disney stock, yeah, that ain't looking good. If you had bought up here 189 US, now that same stock is worth 89, so you lost $100 for every stock you own, because they did the all the race and gender swaps on all the characters. But it makes for a better story, right? It's all about that story, right? There's no other narrative. There's no other reason. And again, I don't know, because I don't know this character, because I dropped out of Marvel like 5 years ago. I don't go near Star Wars or Marvel anymore. But anyway, this character's name is Dust. So that's why this character is relevant to our special on Dust today. Here on Quest for Gear, it's Dust Day. So what else can we talk about Dust? Keep in mind, like, I'm not an expert by any means. I actually don't even care about the topic. It really means nothing to me. I'm not interested in it. I find it really boring. I don't know why you guys are interested in Dust or why you would comment on it, but you did. So here we go. Oh, here we go. There's that character Dust. Maybe she really was like a chick from the start. It's just that, you know, most of Marvel's characters now are race and gender swaps, so that's why you can see why I would think that maybe she was. Oh, there's one of them dust mites. Look at that thing. They're just little though. But can you imagine if that was like bulldozer size? And this is a person dusting. She's got a little plant, and she's got her gloves and her little. That's how she picks the dust up. right? And then after she's done cleaning that dust, she'll just like wring that out outside so that she can use it at a different time. And then here we've got, for some reason, this person is using a gas mask against the dust. For some reason, maybe it's like a biological dust. There's another guy stealing some dust. This person's stealing dust. What else? This is a product called Super Dust. It's for strong hold of volumized hair, and it's by Loretto. It's a super dust texturing and volumizing styling powder for strong hold. You got to log in to view the price on something like that. That's how you know it's expensive. Loretto's super dust texturing and volumizing styling powder. It gives you a natural look, gravity defying lift with a matte finish, reworkable invisible hold, strength and volume. So yeah, you put that in your hair. I wish they'd show like a before and after on that so we could see what that dust does to somebody's hair. But what else can we find out about dust? This person. Oh, Dust Magazine. There's Dust. Oh my God. How exciting are you guys going to be to find out there's a Dust Magazine? You commenters that comment about the dust. You're going to love this. We got to go see Dust Magazine. Much. I think I'm going to be... Is this one of these things, though, that there won't be any... It won't be anything to do with dust? Dustmagazine.com. Just a magazine. What's it about? Well, that's weird stuff. What? There's no... This isn't about... Oh, what is happening? What is happening? I don't think this is actually about... What is happening? Okay, let's get out of here. This isn't about dust at all. I do not suggest you subscribe to dustmagazine.com. How to reduce dust in your home, in your HVAC. What else we got? How to reduce dust in an apartment. That's probably good. Let's take a look at that. One, you got to understand the cause of dust in apartments. Sorry, I had to take a drink. I'm thirsty talking about dust. Oh, wrong hole. Oh. Went down the wrong hole. Dust is a common issue in apartments. It can be caused by various factors. Understanding these causes can help identify the dust sources in your living space and take appropriate measures to reduce them. So I would think that, yes, one is like the understanding of the cause. That's how you get to the bottom of most problems. Two is how to reduce it. Well, you could implement a regular cleaning routine. Dusting, that gives you just different techniques. Vacuuming, mopping, minimizing the clutter. You could use an air purifier. You could maintain indoor humidity levels. The optimal indoor humidity level, everyone knows, is between 40% and 50% to minimize the dust movement and settling. And there's also dust-proofing strategies. You could seal the cracks and gaps. You could upgrade the HVAC filters, which we could go and look at my HVAC. I have one of them filters in mine. You probably do too. If you rent, your building's system would have that. You could utilize doormats and shoe racks. You could wash your bedding regularly. You could opt for dust-resistant furniture and decor. Probably a good move. Sorry, I gotta take another drink. I'm really thirsty with all the dust talk. And then you can choose the right window coverings. You can consider using washable curtains or blinds that are easy to clean and maintain. You can avoid heavy fabric curtains that tend to collect and hold on to the dust and opt for a window covering. And that's usually what I do. When I talk to my window covering guy, I'm like, this isn't that dusty kind, is it? And he's like, oh, I thought you wanted the dusty kind. I said, no. And that's how we tend to deal with that. Allergy proofing your apartment. You could choose hyperallergenic bedding and furnishings. You could remove the carpeting and the rugs. There's a joke there somewhere. Laundering the curtains and the upholstery. You could regularly change the HVAC filters. I feel like they're starting to repeat themselves. We talked about the HVAC filters up here, didn't we? Pretty sure. Yeah, upgrading the HVAC filters. Look. See? It's already here. They're just trying to make this this presentation longer than it needs to be. They think they're funny. People that do that, people that make the really long presentation, they think they're being funny, making this presentation longer than it actually needed to be. So yeah, gotcha, busted. Let's see. Reduce the indoor humidity. Look at these guys. These guys know about dust. They get it all figured out. They're like, no dust here. You ain't gonna sell me no dust curtains. Curtains with dust on them. This guy's like, I got my dust bottle. And she's got her dust stick, and then she's got a different kind of product, which is weird, because who's right and who's wrong? Unless that's the same product, but that one, it's green on the back, but he has his turned around, maybe. And she's got one of them dust things that I said that I got over there. She's got one too, and then this guy's like the boss. He's just like, I'm tired. I'm going to fold my arms. I'm tired making sure that these ones are doing the dust jobs. So yeah, I'm obviously the boss because I'm taller, is my understanding of that relationship. And then what else do we got here? We've got like one of them vacuum things. Ooh, dust-proof your home. How to reduce dust in your home. How long is this video? We could watch this.
In this video, we're going to
that's
show
really
you how
loud.
to reduce dust in
Oh,
your
it's
home.
5 minutes.
Stay tuned because
Yeah, right on.
we're going to be sharing one of the biggest mistakes people make when dusting.
Well, that's good. No, I'll put this on and I'll totally watch the whole thing.
My name's Jo and I'm from Expert Home Tips, the first place you should turn if you want to learn about DIY, home management and more. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the latest life hacks. From skin particles to dirt brought in on shoes, dust gets into our homes so easily. As well as being an eyesore and a pain to clean, it can make your allergies a lot worse. Let's get started with some easy ways to reduce dust in the home. Number 1 is to change your bedding. Your bed sheets are a haven for skin particles and dust mites, so be sure to wash them weekly. You should also consider washing, dry cleaning or replacing your bedding if you've had it for more than a year. Next on our list is to get yourself a dehumidifier. A dehumidifier will help reduce the levels of humidity in the house and is one of the best ways to deal with dust mites. Better yet, the filter inside the unit will collect loose dust particles in the air. Make sure you clean or replace this regularly to keep on top of the dust. There are lots of different types of dehumidifiers available, so make sure that you get one that will be effective for the size of the room. Tip number 3 is to opt for window blinds. Thick and long curtains are a dust magnet and can be a pain to clean. Blinds will be a much better option for reducing dust in the home. If you have Venetian blinds, it's really easy to clean the slats. We have this special dusting tool which will link in the description box below. One of the best ideas is to use an air purifier to reduce dust. This works in a similar way to the dehumidifier, filtering the air to remove dust particles. We find this to be the most effective if you suffer badly from allergies, as it can also help to remove pollen and other airborne contaminants. Tip number 5 is to keep on top of vacuuming. We know it sounds really obvious, but it's the only way to get rid of dust in high traffic areas like hallways and living rooms. If you're serious about reducing dust in your home, look out for vacuum cleaners with high efficiency particulate air filters. HEPA filters are supposed to remove 99.9% of pollen, animal dander and bacteria from the air. If for any reason you can't vacuum, be sure to keep on top of sweeping the floors. A big mistake that a lot of people make is not cleaning their dustpan and brush. This can lead to more dust flying everywhere. Be sure to wash your brushes every few months and let them air dry before storing. Tip number 7 is to mop your floors. You might think that vacuuming and sweeping are enough to remove all the dust, but you'd be wrong. A damp mop will help to collect any dust that you've missed. Next, you should declutter to help get rid of dust. If you've got a cluttered home, chances are all your knickknacks are gathering dust. Have a good sort out and try to keep your home more minimalist. Clutter-free surfaces are so much easier to dust. Another trick is to keep windows shut on windy days. This is the best way to prevent dust floating in the air. If you need your windows open, maybe just open the upstairs windows to keep the low-flying dust out. Tip number 10 is to ditch your carpets for wooden floors. It sounds like a big change, but carpet holds a lot of dust. Even with the best vacuum cleaner, you'll never get your carpets completely dust-free. Wooden floors definitely aren't for everyone though, so let us know in the comments which one you prefer. At number 11, we've got some ideas for reducing dust in your wardrobe. Put seasonal or lesser worn items into storage using plastic containers or cloth bags. It's really important to keep your wardrobe doors closed at all times to keep the dust out. Another way to stop dust from coming into your home is by using a doormat. We like to use a coir mat outside and a fabric one indoors. Don't forget to shake them off outside to get rid of any dust buildup. Tip number 13 is to always remove your shoes when inside. To avoid traipsing dirt through your home, it's best to leave putting your shoes on to the last minute and to always do it as close to the front door as possible. Even if your shoes look clean, you can easily spread tiny dust particles all around your home. For our final tip, we're sharing the biggest mistake people make.
This is the
when
biggest
dusting.
mistake.
If you ask us, the worst thing you can do when dusting is not going
Not
from top to
going
bottom.
on top to bottom.
Start up high with the tops
I always
of doors,
said that.
bookshelves and sides, and then work down to the floor.
Right.
If you were to vacuum first, you'd only end up knocking more dust onto the floor later on. So tell us, are you a dusting expert?
Yes.
Or have you been getting it wrong?
No.
That's all of our tips for reducing
read the
dust
2
in your
books
home.
about it.
If you've got this far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel right now.
Yoink.
To see the full
Yoink.
instructions and exclusive advice.
I liked and subscribed. So yeah, so this has been the Quest for Gear special on dusting. I don't care about the topic. I'm not enthusiastic about it. I don't know much about it. I find it rather boring to talk about dust, but the commenters, a couple commenters were like, hey, what's with the dust? And I'm like, well, if that's what you're into, we can do a dust video, man. We can do a dust video, man. No problem. We can do it, you know? So this is what they're talking about over here. There's just this little bit of dust here. Right. Can you kind of see that? Just it bothered them, right? They're like, hey, what's with the dust? And I'm like, oh, we could do an hour-long special on the dust if that's what you want to do. They didn't even see this. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Actually, it's not that bad. Oh, but over here. So yeah, so typically if you're new to the channel, typically it's a Quest for Gear. It's about guitars and drums, guitar amps, and home recording, and synthesizers and organs, and classic rock, rock and roll, indie rock, lots of fun stuff. But occasionally we will satisfy the demands of the is that dust in there? The demand of the commenters, and we'll do the content they want to see. And in this case, they wanted to know about dust. So this has been the Quest for Gear. Is that dust? No, actually that's pretty good too. Now I'm having trouble finding dust. Here we go. There we go. There's a little dust there. Just, do you see that? You see the difference there? Oh, yeah. Look. Oh. So, yeah. We may do a part 2 of this. Part 2 of dust. Someone asked when I went to Peter Jackson about filming this. He was like, well, what about cobwebs? And I said, cobwebs? Like, the commenters didn't ask about cobwebs, they just asked about dust. So, I don't know. Do I branch off? That just sounds like a 2-parter or, you know, a bigger documentary. I got the cobwebs, though. Look, I can do cobwebs. We could do a 1-hour Quest for Gear about cobwebs if you want. So, but yeah, next episode we'll probably talk about guitars or the Fender tonemaster Pro or an audio interface or bass guitars or effects pedals or home recording or compressors. You know, like something more on topic with the channel, something more that people would actually want to hear about, because no one wants to hear about dust. It's so boring. It's not even worth a mention to come up to somebody's channel and go, hey, what about dust? It's like, well, it's not really what we do here. You might see some dust, but it's not really what we're into. Just it's boring. You might be on the wrong channel, but hey, if you made it this far and you like home recording and gear and guitars and indie rock and dust, go ahead and like and subscribe. And we're almost to the 60-minute mark. We might as well, we'll just send you out with a satisfying little ASMR of some dust. Actually, no, you know, we had, if we're going to do this, we might as well do this right. I'm going to leave you with this. I close my eyes, only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity. Dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Oh, now don't hang on. Nothing lasts forever but the earth and sky. It slips away, and all your money won't another minute buy. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. Dust in the wind. Everything is dust in the wind. Everything is dust in the wind. The wind. I'll leave you with that and some dust.